Well, hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jared. This is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. One dubs. As we are want to do every day, I want to remind you that silence is being complicit. So, for those of you that are scared to say anything, I think it's okay to be afraid. I want to make sure that I don't marginalize how people feel. You saw, yeah, yeah. The correct response is protest, boycott, and strike nationwide. Gonna have to happen. You got 3 days. For those of you looking for guidance, so want to make sure there were because there's a lot of people. We're a deeply political country, and there's organizations that we fuck with and that we don't fuck with, right? And one of the things that I make sure to do is think about how like other people are feeling. Not not me. I give a shit about me. I'm just a dude. Okay. But what I look for is I say, okay, what if I'm not in Washington, D.C., Jared? Where could I protest? And I get it. I'm even being kind of a dick when I say it like that. Yeah, that's the whole point. Okay. For example, you could go to events.poll-rev.com. Okay. This isn't indivisible. It's a 50-51 protest, but I'm literally showing you another website, pol-rev.com, that shows you where these protests are being organized and planned in your area. And more than like, and so what I'm saying is like, let's say that you're an indivisible kid and you're not a 50-51 kid, which again, that shit blows my fucking mind. I don't give a shit, right? As long as it is a planned and organized protest. Oh, there's an organization behind this. Oh, that means they got the correct permits and we're not all walking into a fucking hornet's nest. Fantastic, right? We're gonna be able to essentially peaceably assemble. One of the things that's not lost on me is that there seemed to be a glut of people in the United States that do not understand. Um, we have this thing called the First Amendment that the President of the United States thinks that he can just violate. Um, Sending in ICE while people peaceably protest, and then calling in the National Guard, and then calling in the Marines, all the while manipulating the people, all the while manipulating the people through the media. See, it's like a sick, twisted fucking existence, is it not? But one of the things I want to make sure that we stick our hand out here and say, hey, uh, so everybody knows, um, the First Amendment gives you the right to also protest. Um, it's important to understand. Morning, morning, Danielle. It's important to understand that the bad guys, they want you to react violently, as is our nature, right? There are going to be plenty of people out here with absolutely zero intent on actually committing any acts of violence themselves that are going to try to coax other people into doing it for them. I could name names. You already know how I feel. And instead, I am saying, hey, uh, he can do this in one city. He can't do this in 1,000 different places. Hmm. And wherever a few gather, you got yourself a protest, okay? And you'll be thanking yourself at some point for actually sticking your neck out, right? Okay? Just know that the guillotine's not meant for you. It's not for you. Especially like if you're here wondering like what exactly are we supposed to do? Boycott, protest, and strike. Aim your dollar better. I'm gonna start talking about this more because I only have like one client that is somebody that watches the show, and that seems pretty fucking crazy given how much people bitch about living paycheck to paycheck. So hey, if that's you, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, and you go check your credit and you've got $10,000 or more in credit card and unsecured debt, my guess is that you're paying hundreds of dollars, if not 1,000 or more dollars a month in interest to the very companies that are financing your demise. So you have choices. You could think of me as just some dude that hasn't capitalized on his little daily podcast. Someone too lazy to do enough to get paid. Or you could understand that I don't need to make money off my audience. I'm doing just fine. I would just rather work with people. Oh, and that is incorrect. And I have nothing to say to you. One of the things that I will not entertain is I will not suffer a fool who thinks that you should only fly the American flag during a protest where the US government, so I want to keep this in mind, the US government has sicked the military on its people. How dare you tell them to also fly the flag of their oppressor and not the Mexican flag, which is synonymous with protest? So, yep, a lot of people out there doing YouTube just to survive and make a buck. I don't have a problem with that. Neither do I. It's when they're trying to convince other people to commit acts of violence. See, I think there's a pretty clear distinction between trying to make a buck and trying to get other people to commit acts of violence that you don't intend to commit. And I want to keep that in mind. I want to keep pushing this out into. I was in the Marine Corps infantry during a time of war. That means if you asked me to fight, I showed the fuck up first. Yep. What are we doing? Mm-hmm. I'll fight. And I'm telling you, in this instance, you are outmanned and outgunned. And if you try to fight them violently, they'll just put you down. Mhm. Instead, what you have to see through, which is almost the same as every other Republican administration, you have to see through the bullshit. You have to see what is actually happening. You have to talk to people that actually live in Los Angeles, for example, before you form any opinion. My very strong recommendation is to talk to your friends from LA. You know what they'll tell you? Protests were peaceful. The people were incited by ICE. And when they only had rubber bullets, because Donald Trump is a fucking coward, just like all the people telling you to go out and commit acts of violence against ICE and against feds. No, nope, that ain't the play. The reality is there are not very many judges that are willing to just give this administration a pass. And the thing about it is, one of the things that you're learning is about restraint and picking your battles and it being a chess game. And it's unfortunate for a lot of people that a lot of people are just they're part of the rat wheel, right? They just run, 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 and you make the fucking wheel turn, right? And then there are people that are looking at how is this machine actually functioning. The media would tell you, hey, 2,000 natty guards showed up and started roughhousing with the people, and that's not actually what happened. 300 natty guards showed up, and they didn't have no food or water or ammo or place to sleep, and it's real sad. It's real sad. Remember, he told us that veterans are suckers and losers. So I just want to keep that in mind while we're bootlicking this motherfucker. He thinks you're a loser. So, love you, Zeke. Not mad at you, nothing. I think there's a fine line between trying to capitalize on what you're able to offer and understanding that it's fucking priceless. That having someone that cannot be compromised sit in front of you every day and say, "Look, I'm the most likely to want to fight." And I'm telling you, protest, boycott, and strike. Stop using Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter, Amazon. Stop using it. All of it. Just get the fuck off those websites. Let them die. They're already dying. So either you are wanting to watch the car crash so badly that you will keep your nose in your phone. And again, what crazy advice from my fucking parents and like every boss I've ever had that had any fucking sense. Keep your nose out of your fucking phone and do something about it. What fucking sage advice? Oh, nothing. I don't think anything will happen. I think that Donald Trump will try to co-opt the Army parade because it is the Army's 250th birthday. They are Zeke. They already did. They spoke. There was a female soldier in uniform without rank or name tag on that spoke. It is apolitical. It is apolitical to stand against this regime. It's beyond politics. It is illegal. It's in the Constitution. The President of the United States cannot stick the military against people. A lot of people saw footage of buses and were like, oh, they sent buses. Show me the Marines operating in Los Angeles. I'm telling you, what happened to the National Guard won't be repeated. Do you think any other state in the country is going to honor the president's request to send in the National Guard, knowing you're sending them in with no bullets? So they're not meant to be an attacking force. No band-aids. No, I'm really sorry. I had something in my teeth. It came out while I was talking. And what has to happen? And hey, Gabby, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? What's going to happen really quickly is people are going to realize when it comes to pew pews, there's no question who has more juice and who has more bodies. And that's the United States of America. Has 350 million fucking people in it. Um, and a lot of those people are willing to stand their ground. Okay? So what I recommend you do, as I've said many fucking times before, is put your pew pew down and attend protest. Understand that you need to build a community of people around you that know you very well and that you know very well. And you know whether this is a person whose house you can go to or this is someone that will cooperate with the authorities. You got to know. And so there's a whole rhyme and reason to tell other people to like get to know your fucking neighbors. It's not just because I want you guys to hang out and shit. It's because I know that if we don't look at this situation and say, yeah, we could do this better. There's like better ways to do this. If you're not looking at this situation and saying there's better ways to do this, and you're tired of just being angry all the time, you have to do what lets your conscience settle. And for many of you, your conscience will not settle until you get up off your ass and go protest, boycott, and strike. And you are part of, you will feel a sort of pulse within the movement, wherever you are. And wear a fucking mask. Dear God, don't get COVID and get real sick protesting and shit. And I'm not saying like a kiafa and a fucking no, I'm saying like a mask. It's don't get COVID, but be sensible in that here's the ultimate expression regarding like mask wearing in public. Okay. I don't care about hiding my identity. You live in a police state. Everywhere you go is there are cameras fucking everywhere. And no, one of the things you also got to know about there being fucking cameras everywhere is that um those no one has your interest. Don't take other people for granted or think other people are going to be there for you. There's too many people protesting that are like taking a stand and standing in front of trucks and shit. Somebody said they ate a bag of Cheetos and shit a likeness of Trump. TikTok chat is fucking unhinged, bro. But be happy that you are doing something about it. One of the things that I notice is my neighborhood is really goddamn quiet every morning when I walk my fucking dogs, my pit bulls and my German Shepherd. And I noticed that it didn't used to be this way. It used to be a pretty lively fucking neighborhood. Yeah. Now that people are having to suffer with the weight of their decisions, they're not so fucking social anymore. It'll fucking kill you. It'll like to kill you. Mm-hmm. Yep. And don't take your fucking cell phone and turn it into a content creation day. You notice when I go to protest, I only take video because I'm early. And I go before people pack the place because I'm not trying to ID anyone. I'm just trying to show you how pretty the area we were about to occupy is, right? And then ultimately, the reason I stopped recording is because I saw a police officer rubbernecking, and that I just walked straight towards him. I have just a hey man, I see Ray Bans and a badge, and I just go fucking "Hmm?" um. And then one of the protest workers cut between us and handed him the uh, permits. I'm not gonna lie, if you could actually do that, it'd be worth money. But you know what's crazy about RFK Jr. and Donald Trump's faces is that if you get really close to their faces, they're like really ugly. It's crazy. That evil fucking wears on you. Also heroin, but heroin and cocaine, right? And I guess I should say this. I shouldn't say this because I'm not. You never know how someone will react when you take away their drugs. But I'm willing to bet if you restrict the flow of cocaine and ketamine into the Trump administration, uh, maybe things wouldn't be so like it. Things wouldn't feel so dire. Does that make sense? Yeah, and the more I think about it, oh, S&M. Uh my iPhone updated and you remember how we had this conversation a while ago about hey, don't update your phone, they're forcing AI onto your phone and shit. Uh how did we get restricted for what? Hey Jerry, I'm gonna restart because we just got a restriction. What the fuck did I say? I mean, probably a lot of things. I probably said a lot of words I shouldn't have said. Let's just be real. But what did I say? Uh, Hmm. Somebody's gonna have to point that one out to me. I'm not sure what we got restricted for. Walmart had a no kings ad. Jesus Christ. By the way, if you were wondering if I was still being throttled on the internet, it lasted less than 24 hours. Two posts. I don't know, can you guys see when you go to my TikTok, can you see how many views shit has? Because you could totally see the fucking pattern. Oh, Debs, that's right. Totally me. I was talking about how the president and the president, well, Donald Trump is not the president. He's like the secretary to the president, and Elon's like the president's first lady, and Vladimir Putin's actually the president of the United States. And again, I'm telling you, it's because you got two non-English speakers and somebody that reads at a fourth grade reading level at the very top of this thing. And there's a reason it's all fucked, right? And at least like two hardcore RX addicts. Hmm. Whoever their dealer is. Speaking of dealers, here's the Trump administration destroying HIV meds. Yeah, I think on a news show that is also on TikTok that fights censorship. Um, we got to talk about Kaby Lame, um, Senegalese Italian. He's totally jealous. Donald Trump is totally jealous of him. He attended the Met Gala. He's a UNICEF Goodwill ambassador. He has a multi-year partnership with designer brand Hugo Boss. The, the last three sentences of that article are why he got detained and deported easily, because Donald Trump is fucking wildly jealous of Kabi Lame, who, by the way, is Senegalese and Italian, and apparently overstayed the terms of his visa. I just want to point out, by the way, to all of you people that hate people that don't look like you, um, and hate immigrants, the United States is a nation of immigrants. I'm gonna keep saying it. If you're a white person, if your skin looks like mine, you're an immigrant, or like the son or daughter or granddaughter or grandson of an immigrant. How dare you be anti-immigrant? And I just want to point out, if you're a white person and yep, yep, and if you go back farther than that, because there was stuff that happened before that, your family landed here on Plymouth Rock before that. Uh-huh. Remember, America was settled. That's right. We learned this in, oh hell, middle school, right? Where we learned that white people are from Europe. That's across the Atlantic Ocean. I know that this is a wildly difficult concept for you to understand. But again, if you look like me, you are not from here. Yeah, that's right. You're not indigenous. Nope. And you know what? It would make sense if you were Latino, like if you're Mexican and your family's from around the way, there's a chance that you're indigenous to the United States actually, and your family is, right? Nope, nope, it's totally irrelevant. You are the child of an immigrant. How dare you be anti-immigrant? How dare you be backwards? That's not a this is not a complex thought. This is not high-mindedness. This is nothing. Uh-huh. Thank you. And and nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that. See, this is the problem I have is you playing the victim. Mexico's screaming we stole it. No followers. Like a robot. Just all up in my chat. Hey, I just want to point out the guy that was stalking me the other day, he stopped. Yeah. So notice I didn't say anything about Mexico, right? Oh, I said it would make sense if they were anti-immigrant because like technically it's like this is your land, you know what I mean? Or if you're like an American Indian and you're anti-immigrant. Now listen, I'm not saying it's okay to be anti-immigrant. I'm saying it would be more understandable if you're like an American Indian and you hate, for example, and you hate white people, that tracks. I totally get it. If you're a white person or if you're an American Indian and you dislike the colonizers, that tracks. That actually makes sense. But if you're a white person in the United States, hey, you're an immigrant, or the son or daughter of an immigrant, or the grandchild or great grandchild of an immigrant. How dare you be anti-immigrant? And again, most of the time when people are anti-immigrant, it's racism, right? And I just want to point that out and say a lot of people's racism, they veil it with, oh, I just want people to have all their paperwork done. Understand that, yes, Eric, if the Mexican people aren't our enemies. It's those people in power that's tearing America apart. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Let's go Pacers. Hell yeah. Game 3 at home tonight. See, this is the concentration of forces. I think here's an NBC News article about Harvard, Princeton, Yale, and alumni. I thought Gavin Newsom's speech was great. Hey, we've got about 35 people watching across two different channels. So, hey, we're going to do this every day. TikTok chat, say hi to YouTube chat. See how there's a whole bunch of people in there? Yeah, that's right. So hey, if you think that the people in this chat on TikTok are batshit crazy and you want like some normalcy, you can go up into my profile and there's a link to the YouTube channel and you could just come into Justice's Waiting Room on YouTube and chat with all these people. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, one of the things I'm not gonna do is sit there and watch them. See, everybody's like, oh, there's no accountability and all bad guys just keep getting away with it. They do? Here's an Alabama sheriff getting arrested for hiring uncertified officers. So again, I get it. The guy at the top seems like nothing ever bad happens to him. Okay. This is how inefficient, ineffective Stephen Miller is at his job. Okay. In the instance of these ICE raids in LA, understand some of the immigrants that they picked up had already been deported. When was the last time a Republican president did something to help the American people? Let's ask ChatGTP. When was the last time an American Republican president did something that benefited the American people? Abraham Lincoln did he was a Republican. He did stop slavery. Here's mm, this isn't even AI. This is just like a search result. But something that a Republican president did that benefited all people. Ugh. George H.W. Bush signed a cap and trade bill to address sulfur dioxide, which is acid rain, and it actually worked. H.W. Yeah, I mean I answered it. I said, technically Lincoln was a Republican. He did stop slavery. Republicans got that. You got that. Hey, we did outlaw slavery. I just want to point out that the current rich top 1% uh, are heavily invested in the prison system in the United States, and their goal is to build private prisons and jail their political opponents in them and force the able bodied among them into slave labor. Mary B said in the 50s there was a big shift and Republicans became Democrats and Democrats were okay. I happen to not be a Republican nor Democrat. I'm a socialist. In fact, I'm the founder of the American Socialist Party. hmm And all that means is that I'm pro equality and there are flavors of socialism and I'm a syndicalist, which means that I believe in the strength and power of unions and union leadership. And union membership has been on the decline for the last 70 years. And if you think about the erosion of our civil rights, and if you think about um, the economy and the way businesses are basically now in charge of the government, it starts with unraveling all of that. You know, we got to get rid of Citizens United. We got to ban stock trading, and we got to punish insider trading. hmm in politics and get it out. And we got to get Israel and Russia out of American politics, and we got to get them to stop investing in our politicians. I want to make sure I use my platform to say free Palestine and Slava Ukraine. hmm one of my YouTube commenters just said in on Craigslist in Los Angeles there was an ad for people to contest protesters, for people badasses looking to go out and fight. So again, I just want to point out they're having to pay people, probably homeless people, let's be honest, probably super poor people, um, which is also all of us. I just want to point this out. Everywhere I've been, my whole life, college, at Purdue University, I was in the Marine Corps infantry. Poor people. That's all of us. Poor people. Not a single fucking wealthy person among us. Well, the whole time I was in college, poor kids. In the military, poor people. Every job I've ever had, everybody's poor. There aren't rich people that have a day job. So I just want to make sure that we say before we ever talk about politics, I always talk about this being a rich versus poor thing. And you can either recognize that and give up on your politics because it doesn't mean shit. It's rich versus poor. You don't think about the people that aren't protesting this. Rich white people. That's the only people that ain't gonna protest this shit. So invert your American flags. I'm telling you. I'm a Marine and an Eagle Scout is saying it's okay to fly your American flag upside down. In fact, I'd prefer to see it that way because then that means that you also see how fucked up this situation is. And understand that by and large, this man is not getting his way. And that's part of his motivation to do all this extra shit. And understand that everything has to be an escalation of the previous fucking act and that it's not all at all about results. I just want to make sure that people are awfully quick to point out that cruelty is the point, but they fail to point out that it isn't about results. This is about shock and awe. This is that dumb shit they teach in the fucking army, those bunch of pussies that aren't the tip of the fucking spear. The fucking problem is the people that are advising Donald fucking Trump are not warriors. They're pussies. There's a reason that ICE has non-lethal rounds of fucking rubber bullets. It's because Donald Trump is a fucking coward advised by cowards. Pussies. People who think that shock and awe is what you want to do to the American fucking people. And unaliving American people is what we want to be doing. The Flynn's, Tulsi fucking Gabbard. And I'm fucking pissed. I'm pissed. Because fucking Keg's Breath yesterday says we're gonna stop sending or stop funding this war in Ukraine. And again, I want to point out you can't do that. He doesn't have that power. That's Congress power of the purse. Hmm. No picture, no followers. You calling me a beta? And you're simping for that dude that can't even go up a flight of stairs without falling on his face? That everywhere he goes, people boo his ass? Yep. Well, Zeke, draft dodger wants a military parade. Yep. Yep, and I want to point out there's a lot of people that aren't protesting every time that there's a protest that are flicking their nose and saying, "Oh, we're not protesting often enough. We're not do and hey, get off your ass and go to a fucking protest. Bitch at the protest. Don't sit on the internet and bitch about we're not protesting enough. We're not doing enough. Get off your ass and protest. Talk about that at a protest. The thing I don't see is I don't see people bitching about other people protesting at a protest. I don't see that. I see people sitting on their fucking duff on their couch in their house bitching about other people protesting. When the reality of the situation is, you said in the beginning, oh, it's going to take protesting every day to oust this regime. Okay, Mayday movement, Washington, D.C., 90 straight days of protests, every single day without a break. You asked for that. Here it is. If you're able and can go to Washington, D.C., join the fucking Mayday movement right there. There you go. And then, hey, if you're not in Washington, D.C., I'm not either. Okay? You're wondering where can I get involved in a local protest? Here's not even 5051 or indivisible, which you could also use. This is poll-rev.com. It that means you could just see who's organizing a protest within 50 to 100 miles of your zip code. Okay? Mostly it's going to be 50501 and indivisible. Spoiler alert. Okay? But on the 14th is a No Kings protest. Okay? And remember the consistent message from people that have been an MP in the military, people that have worked law enforcement in the United States. Law enforcement in the United States can handle one big protest. What they cannot handle are several protests. And so if you think, it ain't nobody going to be there, that's actually a good thing. Because there's going to be probably like 1,000 places in the United States with hundreds of people protesting on Saturday. Hmm. Yep. So protest is here. The time is now. In the past, I've kind of said, if you're feeling froggy, you know, kind of, but when the media is selling you lies and telling you that LA is a war zone and the 2,000 National Guards showed up and the Marines showed up. And there are people that live in this country that just want violence on other people. Yep. It's really sad and disappointing, ain't it? And then there's what's really happening, what's really going on. Okay. And what's really happening and really going on is the President of the United States has lied to you about sending in the National Guard. Only a few hundred people actually showed up, and they had no bullets, and they had no band-aids, and they had no water or no food and no place to sleep, and they slept on the fucking floor, and there weren't enough of them to actually have done anything. They just stood the fuck around and laid on the ground, which is what you fucking do when there's literal nothing to do. Your boy, I had a PSP when I was on active duty, so send me to do some fuck shit. And I'm just gonna beat a video game today, is what's gonna fucking happen. Send me to do nothing, you fucks. Abso goddamn lutely. Uh-huh. I'll watch a movie in my truck. I give a shit. You know what I'm saying? If you were the thing about it that you learned on active duty that you didn't learn, I never learned this lesson at a job. I learned it on active duty. You have to be busy from the moment you start work to the moment it's time to go home. And if you can't manage to stay busy from the time work starts to the time it's time to go home, you're going to do some fuck shit. Hey. So understand when they called for 2,000 National Guard and only 300 people showed up, in my mind, because I can do basic math, I'm like 85% of the National Guard called into fucking LA did not show. That's called math for your ass. Hmm. So I know that you're like, oh my God, it's the worst. 85%, 85% of those 2,000 National Guard called into LA did not show. That's a statement. And the people that did had absolutely no way to conduct any operation. No bullets, no band-aids, no water, no food, because they shouldn't have fucking been there. I think it's a statement that the original Marines from Pendleton ended up being Marines. Oh, from 29 Palms. So here's my question. On the East Coast, Camp Geiger is where you go for like AIT and ITB. Is 29 Palms where you go to AIT and ITB on the West Coast? They got the young ones who don't know they can say no. Right, right. Steven said no, LMAO. What do you mean? And by the way, good morning. There's 70 plus people across two channels. Remember, we're live every morning, 8 a.m. to 9:30 on YouTube and TikTok, as long as we don't get fucking banned, because TikTok's super sensitive. But yeah. Hmm. Oh, they go to Pendleton for ITB? Oh, shit. So you go to ITB at the same place you're getting orders to? Wild. I had to drive. I had to drive other people. Yeah, SOIITB. That's fucking crazy. I didn't know that. I wonder if it's still that way though. What is Palms then? Is that just one big range? I was a fucking East Coast Marine. I went to Fort AP Hill in fucking Virginia. A part of my tax. part of my workup for my deployment. And I was on a boat. I was aboard the USS Bataan, part of the 26 Mu. For 8 days. I have like less service than like everyone. Armor vehicles, comm schools, air control schools. Oh, okay. Okay. I'd always heard 29 Palms was like the least desirable. That and Yuma, I think, are like the least desirable because Yuma's in the desert, and again, from what I understand. Um, when I was on active duty, if you just look at time frames, okay, look at between August 2005 and October 2007. I kind of like what was going on because there was a significant weather event. Okay. Um, there, so it's hard to explain to people that weren't there. When I got on active duty, was early 2006, and we had went through while I was at boot camp one of the worst hurricane seasons on record. Um, I remember Wilma and Katrina and Rita. I'm looking at it now. So Katrina, Wilma, and Rita happened August, September, October '05. So we had like really bad. That was boot camp. I was in Paris Island for all three of those hurricanes. Um, and then when I got to ITB after New Year's at Camp Geiger, we went through a drought um, in the middle part of the country. And I'm trying to remember. No, there was a hurricane. I want to say it was Umberto in September '07, about a month before I went home, whereas sort of my proudest made landfall near Galveston, caused significant wind and flood damage, and there was tornadoes. Um, and this is all within like a month of me getting out of the military. There was this Hurricane Umberto in Galveston, Texas, and then there was just nastiest tornadoes you'd ever seen in like a 30-day window. And this was right before I got sent home. And they asked for volunteers. And basically what had happened was people got stranded on I-95. Um, I don't know what they were trying to get away from. Uh, trying to remember. I think it was the hurricane plus the tornadoes were driving people out of the south, and people got stranded on I-95, and they asked for Marines to go, and they sent people from ITB. So understand, from this is me saying, while I was on active duty, we had a bunch of tornadoes and not earthquakes. We had a bunch of hurricanes and tornadoes. And while I was at ITB in '06, in early '06, there was weather related support asked for. They got guys out of ITB. That was the worst time while you're in the military, by the way, was waiting to get picked up to go to AIT or ITB. Every Marine a rifleman, right? So every Marine has to go through a combat course. Actually, you got to kind of like learn how to do the shit. Shoot a rifle, shoot a pistol, throw a grenade, shit like that. You do less of that if you're not in the infantry. And for the record, I was in the Marine Corps infantry and had gone to college first and enlisted. And it is with a great deal of pride that I don't call Marines that don't that aren't infantry, I don't call them pogues. Nope. But I do call people that were Marines that are complete shitbags, I call them pogues, especially when they're not an infantryman. Like JD Vance. He's a fucking pogue. Good to go. Just about anybody else is a Marine with some goddamn honor. Except there's the dude with one eye from Texas. He's kind of a piece of shit too. He was a Marine. Can't remember his name. Crenshaw. Dan Crenshaw. He's a dumbass. Most assuredly a pogue. But yeah, Donald Trump is afraid that the protests are growing and they should. Lee, there's absolutely no need to do that. There are no better days without you. We need you in the fight. I would much rather I would much rather you die on your shield than fall on your sword. You understand? Somebody in my the TikTok chat is fucking off the Richter scale. Somebody in my chat just threatened to like unalive themselves by the end of the week. And it's like, no, there are like no better days without you, dog. Like, there's plenty to live for. You need to get a fucking hobby, okay? Might I introduce the world to Magic the fucking Gathering? I'm literally playing the game when I'm not working, when I'm not with my animals and my wife. Like, let me introduce you to a hobby. I've decided I'm gonna make that like, because y'all need a fucking hobby. You spend too much time doom scrolling on your phone, taking in information from unqualified, unverified fucking sources, and it fucking throws you into a spiral. I need you to lock it the fuck up. Stop looking. God damn it. I sound like my fucking dad. Get off of Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter, Amazon. Stop using all that shit. You're supporting it. So people are so oppressed that they're feeling like I don't want to be here anymore. And it's like, okay, well, stop fucking with your oppressors. Let's start with that. Let's stop using Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter, all that shit. Stop seeking validation from other people at all, and just live your fucking life. It's got to be okay. And then once you realize I'm done fucking with my oppressors. No more Twitter. Twitter and Meta tools. They're the two big ones. That's like get those out of your life. They are a negative. You really need to get Messenger off of your fucking phone. That's probably the most important thing. But most importantly, you've just got to realize that none of this fucking matters. None of it. But you have to be honest with yourself about what is going on, and you have to raise your voice and try to do something about it and understand that violence is not the answer. Unaliving yourself, not the answer. There are no better days without you. So understand that you unaliving yourself ends your pain and your suffering, and for others it just begins their suffering. So in my opinion, it's very selfish to unalive yourself, because again, it doesn't bother you when you're not like here anymore. It just increases the suffering of other people. And again, if you knew that, you wouldn't feel that way, that you don't want to be here anymore. If you knew that, so if I were to unalive myself, all the people around you probably don't know you need help, right? And ultimately, it just stops your suffering, and then it just begins the suffering for a whole bunch of other people. That now every day I wake up in hell, clawing my way out of hell, right? I don't think I'm shaming anyone. I think I'm telling someone like you have to think that if it's not worth sticking around for, and I'm saying like, hey, there's got to be people around you that care about you or that you care about, right? If they don't know you're suffering and you unalive yourself, you just begin their suffering, right? So I don't think I'm victim shaming. They're not a victim, and unless they've tried to do it, and I've tried to do it, so I can think I think I can speak on it, given I've pulled the trigger already, friend, and just say like, um, it's a worthy fight, life, like being here is 1,000% better than not. Hmm. Hmm. And ultimately, it's not about me. It's like it's not about you, right? We have this want to make things about us that ultimately are not about us. Instead of recognizing that instead of unaliving yourself, you could fight. And I don't mean literally. It may come to that. But I mean you could fight against the dying light. You could fight knowing that by and large, like most people are in the same boat you are. Most people feel how you feel. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely meant no shame. And I'm not above criticism either. You can't be a victim of something you haven't attempted. People have um, a tendency to think of themselves harmed just by thinking it. If that's fucking crazy, then I've harmed myself 1,000 times. 1,000 tiny paper cuts. And I think that's a whole lot fucking different than trying to unalive yourself. You know what I mean? Because pain is something after a while, it becomes a part of who you are, right? I've dealt with my right shoulder being in pain for over 17, 18 years, constantly. Can't feel the fingers in my right hand. And no, I didn't do it fighting in some dumb fucking war. I was playing football like a bad motherfucker would do on active duty and dove at the pylon to score game-winning fucking touchdown. Scored, we won, and broke my fucking arm in the process. You know why? Because Marines are badasses. That's why. I juked the shit out of a linebacker on the last play of the last football game I ever played, and he chased me down from behind. And the reason that I got medically separated from the military against my will is partially because he was so goddamn fast that he hit me into the end zone on a quarterback keep to the right from under center. Fake the handoff, fake like I was gonna run, and then straight up just stutter step juke the linebacker, and so I was around him scoring, and he still hit me going into the end zone. That's how good of an athlete he was. And so if you do that in your head, you're like, holy shit. And I tried to stay in it and refuse to like go to medical and shit because I'm a dumb Marine after all. And I was like, fuck it, put me in a sling. I didn't want any dope. I was like, fuck it, pain is like, and I showed up to work every day. And went all the way through the workup for the deployment, including go to the AP Hill. I did all their CAX training. Would you take the orders, LA? I would have talked to my chain of command. Yeah. Yeah. I would have had to talk to my chain of command. Orders are orders. Understand, like, it's a lawful order for them to send you to Los Angeles. It's not a lawful order for them to arm you and gives you orders to shoot at Americans, right? So, and I imagine a lot of people feel the way Lee does, that the world will be like better without you or whatever, and it's just not true. There's just no better days without you. Sorry for bringing all the people that aren't trying to unalive themselves down. I think the weak link in the chain breaks the chain, right? I need you to stand up, stick your neck out there, speak your mind. There's a lot of people that sit and nod and type hundreds in my chat all day that aren't sending me their first pieces of content that they made where they scream into their fucking phone uh into the void with their thoughts. Last night was your worst night. Yeah. Understand it. This is not about results. It's all about chaos and shock and awe and cruelty. Yep. I have been awake at 4 a.m. since November 6th. Dina said last day out of the country for me. I don't know if I want to come back. Oh, I'm not lying. I've definitely thought about asking my wife, like, if you don't want to be here anymore, let's pack it up. But again, I think a lot of people are upset right now with like military leadership for not standing up and speaking out. Um, if you leave the country, don't lose your VA disability. So, from what I understand, and you can do this research. From what I understand, it has a lot to do with where they're putting the money. So, from what I understand, you can go and live anywhere. You wouldn't be able to receive your benefits if they can't transmit the money to a bank account that you have, right? So I think that would be and again, you would need to do some research, Miss Mary, but I'm pretty positive that you don't lose your benefits leaving the country. You lose your benefits when there's nowhere to put them. Like if you bank somewhere else in some other country and and again, I can be wrong about that too. But I'm trying to think about why I would get cancel someone's benefits. Like if you serve this country honorably enough to the point where you earn VA disability benefits, you should be able to live wherever the fuck you want in the world. There's nothing that says when you sign up to, fight for your country that when you leave the military and you get benefits based on your time in service, that you also have to live in the United States in order to receive them. No. Mm-mm. I think it has to do with where your benefits would go. Like it's not if you're spending your money in a foreign country, it's if you're trying to put them in a foreign bank. I have that as a I'm pretty positive. Yeah, I think that's why somebody said that I was victim shaming is because I was trying to tell them there are no better days without you. It just gets worse and more complicated, right? Um, it took me a long time to be where I'd like be in a bar, something would happen, and I'd go to turn to tell RJ, and he wouldn't be there, and it'd be like fuck with me, like oh shit, like because I had spent a pretty crucial time in my life and a very crucial amount of time with a couple few people like Burkhead. By the way, So this Marine came to Indianapolis. So there's a Marine in here. You'll appreciate this, ma'am. So a guy I had been friends with, he's just busy. So the reason we're not like better friends is because he's just busy working, you know? He was a GM at like a really high-end restaurant in Baltimore. And the project fell through and he's been struggling for employment since. Now he's pretty industrious. He's a smart kid. So he got his wedding license thinking like this regime is gonna end gay marriage, so I'm gonna get my wedding license and I'm just gonna marry as many people as I can, especially specifically like gay couples and interracial couples, and like you'd be surprised. He does like 2, 3 weddings a day in the the Baltimore DC kind of metro area. Um, and then he also plays Magic the Gathering, and he made a documentary. It's incredible. It's a piece of cinema. Like when you watch this, it's modern art, and it is at the highest level. Uh-huh. Like you got to understand, he made a documentary, and the people that he interviewed for the documentary are all Hall of Fame Magic players and wildly popular Magic players. And the whole documentary is about another player. It's incredible. Um, I'm not even gonna tell you who it is or what it's about. I'm gonna see if I can find his YouTube channel. It's too late. Yeah, I got like 18 minutes left. We had to eat another restriction, which killed our. I don't know what we got restricted for, but yeah, I know that things are hard right now, but in my eyes, it's just incredibly dumb. It's These people are not good enough to be my oppressors. That's how I feel. Yeah, you have no idea the hole you leave in the world. There you go. Yeah. A lot of people, and again, I can talk about this because I'm talking about how I feel based on what I did. Okay. Um, but I at a time was being very selfish. I at a time was saying that the world will be better without me in it. That was me when I was young and I had all those chemicals going through my body. Um, so many emotions, right? Um, but looking back on it, it's such a selfish act. And there were so many people that I could have talked to before I that I didn't. And so many conversations that I didn't have before I did that. And it's not that those relationships matter, or those conversations matter, or even that those people matter. Full disclosure. But just when I look back, all I think is, man, I was awfully selfish. That was selfish of me. That's it. That's the whole thing. I know that. That's it. How incredibly selfish of me. And finding it interesting in these large corporations offering buyouts. to employees at Google. It's because corporations, as a they advocated for this regime. You have um, the tech bros working against you. There's a reason I've said to get off Facebook threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, all that shit. Hey, we have restrictions. I'm gonna restart you, baby. Oh, look at this. You jumping up here? Come on. Come on. Hey, this is my Pammy. This is Pam. What have you been eating? That doesn't even smell like poop. Ugh. What's up, Edmond? What are you doing, big guy? You can come here? Oh. Stop. I'm doing something. Jeez, go. Go. Y'all are being disruptive. Go, Edmond. Especially you, you little turd. Okay. Edmund can stand here because he's nice. Those are my those are my that's brother and sister pit bulls. Um Edmund's still in here because he's a good boy. He just sit there and take pets. What is on your eyeballs? Here. Did you see his face? He's such a good boy. Did you see his face? Yeah. So that's Edmund. That's Edmund Kemper. Um the the brown puppy that jumped in my lap, that's like my child. That's like a person. Like she does this shit to me. You know this is my dog. My dog does this. That's how you know that's Jared Malott's animal. I'll be like, Pam. When she wants to go outside, she does this. You let us outside? Yeah. If you ever feel like you don't want to be here anymore, go to the Humane Society. Go go love on dogs who need it. You'll probably just end up with a dog and you'll end up here like many years later. That's one of the things that has always kept me around is dogs. I always had to take care of the dogs. Like who's gonna take care of the dogs if I don't take care of the dogs, right? So I'm glad they busted in the door and were loving and shit. Oh yeah, Pam's awesome. She sleeps on my hip. Hmm. Yeah, my dogs and cats. You know, it's funny, S&M, when you've got like mental health issues, cats are not good. It's just fucking true. Cats do not give a shit about you. But I've noticed through all of this, my cats have become more loving, which is funny to me because I've had animals my whole life, and especially when I was like young and impressionable, and dogs will cuddle with you, you know. Your cat is not a fucking body pillow. It's just true. Like your cat is not for you to love on when you really need it, because that cat is not existing for you. You such a good boy. You such a good boy. No, not the same. A cat's love is unique. You know what I think? I think if you have a cat that loves you, you'll be there every step of the way. Yeah. I have two cats and four dogs, yeah. But they again, I'm saying as a general thought process, like cats are not there for your dogs are for that. Dogs are for your mental health. Cats are not for your mental health. They might be loving animals that are cuddly, but and again, it's more like a joke than anything else. Yeah, yeah. I went a long time um without walking the dogs. They were just outside all the time. But there's something about being a companion, about like taking your dogs for walks. So now I walk them like twice a day. It's like I'm trying to make up for not walking them. You just get so bogged down with life, you just forget what's important. But what's important is taking them fucking dogs on walks. And it's something to be said when your dog's like good on a leash and you can take it for a walk, but it's good. Yeah, it's good for you. Yeah, it's not only good for your health, it's good for your dogs and it make them just better. When your dog's all gassed up all the time, when my dogs are full of energy, my wife does not like having four fucking dogs because it's a lot, especially for like a smaller person. Like my German Shepherd, Ernie, she jumps on me. She's big. She'll straight up knock people down. But you can teach them to become gentle. And it's really hard to teach people to be kind and gentle, but dogs, they will take that training. Remember this? Russia sees China as an enemy. 140 pounds, goodness. Russian intelligence document calls China the enemy, and a leak exposed Moscow's deep fear. Here's remember, chaos is the name of the game. It's what's happening at the top. These people are fucking stupid. But here's one of the worst people in the world, by the way, with a valid point that Russia's too weak to fight against the rest of the EU. They can't even defeat Ukraine. And that's coming from Viktor Orban, who, again, that's like he's Trumpian. But we are not going to help them, right? Yeah, so that again was why I was upset earlier is because um Hegs Hegseth whiskey leaks. Major drinking problem. Um He said that the U.S. is no longer going to fund the war in Ukraine. The good news is before we could say that, the EU and the UN had already said like we got them. Hmm. And I want to make sure I make this very clear as well. Um, the best of us, and I say that as a Marine Corps infantry veteran, the best of us have or are currently or would in a heartbeat fight on the front line in Ukraine against Russia. Hmm. Hmm. So if you want to know where the best of us are, and if let's say you can't go, you got too many obligations stateside, right? Consider donating to the North American Fella Organization. Sends care packages. Oh, let's be serious. You want to be serious about some shit? I was really sad on Valentine's Day, and I went to the Humane Society in Indianapolis to not be alone on Valentine's Day, and went home with Tolly, who I had for more than a decade. So, know that when you go to a dog shelter, even though you're just going there to pet the doggies, just know in terms of Commander Shepard, so I had a dog named Tali Zoranaraya Vas Malat, and then also Commander Shepard from the same shelter. Uh, the next time we went to go get Tali a friend, and we thought we'd get her a boy. Um, no, you know what I've learned? You know what I've learned in my life? Can you go as this Ukraine is civilian? Yes. Yes. There are a lot of people out there that are like, I don't know what to do. I'm feeling aimless. You can go to Ukraine. You could sell everything. You could get all tactical geared the fuck up and go ask how you can help. Hmm. There's a lot of former service members, former Marine buddies of mine. Funny enough, former Marine buddies of mine that went special forces. Hmm. Several of them still over there. Fucking one of them still chewing on cigars. Still chewing on cigars. I don't even know how he has his teeth. Hmm. Kicking ass and taking names. Yeah. And my big thing about dogs that we've learned is just adopt all of them and get rid of the dogs that can't be a part of the GP. You know? In our case, we had to isolate Shepherd from Edmund, and that's forever. They're like two ships passing in the night at this point. They don't even acknowledge each other because they tried to hurt each other to the point where they were both completely exhausted. And I was just like, I don't want to ever have that happen, and I'm not here. Let's just separate them forever. And we've gotten rid of another dog because he attacked a dog and wouldn't let him go. And we're positive that that dog got put down 100% when we took that back to the the shelter and said that dog tried to unalive another dog. Not for 5 minutes. I don't care if they just are nervous. As a Marine, would you have gone to Los Angeles? Yes. Hmm. Orders are legal orders. So if I had been given legal orders, it's what did they have us do? What is the mission? Right? It's not. No, the United. Think you don't understand. The President of the United States can send the Marines anywhere he wants. It's the mission. What is the mission? There's a reason that you haven't seen video footage of Marines conducting operations in Los Angeles, and that's because it's not illegal. No, it's not illegal for the president to send you anywhere. He can send you anywhere. It's what is the mission? Once you get there, oh, you want us to take bullets and huh? You're not listening. The president of the United States has the full authority to send Marines wherever he wants. Okay? It's once you get there, what's the mission? And if the mission is draw your weapon, put in ammos, yep. Not he did it. He did it already. He got Marines moved from where they were. He got them got get all their gear. He does absolutely have that authority. He can send the Marines, but it's the mission. What is the mission? If he says go unalive American citizens, that is an unlawful order, and I'm not obeying that. So, for example, if they try to give you live ammo, you would turn that down and say, okay, you can send me to LA. They can send me anywhere they want. All orders for movement are orders. So I can go to LA, but once they say draw your weapon, it's like, okay, take these live rounds. No. Oh, now we're going to punish you because you're refusing to take live rounds in Los Angeles, right? Now, under the UCMJ, we can have our day in court. And I was refusing an unlawful order where my leadership said, draw weapons, put rounds in your guns, let's go. Mm-mm, mm-mm. You can send me anywhere you want. Look, I was on active duty in the Marine Corps Infantry during a time of war. They can send you anywhere they want at any fucking time. And then if the leadership says draw weapons, put real rounds in your weapons, we're going on patrol, that's an illegal order, and that's when you stand up for yourself. Okay. Okay. With your 138 followers? Bye. Bye. But yeah, the president of the United States has the authority to direct Marines. But it's about what is the mission. So once you get them to LA, what are you gonna do with them, Don? Oh, if you have them draw weapons, again, that's not an unlawful order. So seeing a Marine with an M-rated weapon and they're just carrying it, hey, if it doesn't have any rounds in it, it's not unlawful. The moment they try to issue live rounds, that's when you say, okay, enough is enough. Not doing that shit. Hmm? That becomes an unlawful order. There's a power to accumulate. Again, one of the things that we've learned so far is that this administration has no intent on following through. So they're not gonna issue live rounds. ICE has rubber bullets. The National Guard doesn't have live rounds. The Marines are not getting issued live rounds. That would be an unlawful order. So there's your when they start giving the military live rounds to go interact with the public, that is an illegal order. Well, that's crazy because I'm a white person. See how my skin is white? So I am an immigrant. I am the grandchild or great grandchild of English immigrants. And so I would just be kind to them and tell them that I don't have room for them to sleep in my house because I have pit bulls and I don't have extra space, which are more than happy to pitch a tent in the yard. And then nobody will say a word, and if they do, I got you. So, mhm. To just understand that the only reason they're not, for a record, a Marine I was on active duty with 20 years ago just spent 5 days in Indianapolis. Okay. And he begged me, let me sleep in a tent in your yard. Let me sleep in my car in your driveway. And I said, no, here's a hotel room for the 5 nights you're here. You can have your own room and shower and toilet. not on my land. And I kind of think that's the least I could do. It's a little over 500 bucks out of my pocket. I could give a shit. That Marine has to tell everybody else. I went to Indianapolis for 5 days and Malat put me up in a fucking hotel. And didn't stay with me and make it a boys' weekend, even though that's what he wanted to do. And neither of us are drinkers, so it's not like we would have got drunk and done stupid shit. No, he just hadn't seen me in 20 fucking years and really want to hang out. And the first night I did that, I was out till 3 a.m. and my wife was upset. And I said, you know what's going to happen? We can hang out all fucking day. But when it's over, I'm going to go home, wife and dogs. You know, same partial, same reason I didn't just say come sleep in my house. Right? Yeah, you just got to be careful how you ask your questions. You know? And you have to actually read people's questions and shit. So as we've said before, you should be gassed up. You should know. I'll tell you when it's too dangerous to protest. But so far, this administration is too chicken shit to issue live ammo. So that should embolden you to protest, boycott, and strike, and the work and keep your head on a fucking swivel. And I wouldn't say so much zig and zag as I would duck and dodge. Okay, if you see uh ICE coming around with their non-lethal rounds, understand they're fucking larpers. Okay, ICE is fucking larping. And the National Guardsmen are bored, and the Marines don't have real rounds in their guns. And nothing's gonna happen. It's a bunch of bullshit, and all those people are gonna be very like distressed and discouraged. And I would be very wary of the Marines that you send to LA. I would and not they're gonna do something dumb. I'm talking about afterwards, because you know they're just gonna stand around with a high and tight, with trying not to put their fucking hands in their pockets and being like, why the fuck are we here? Fuck are we doing? You know how many people I served with named Garcia, Gonzalez, right? Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, this platform's pretty aggressive towards me. But hey, I have started streaming myself playing Magic the Gathering on my YouTube channel. If you are looking for a hobby, if you're like, "Hey, how would I possibly meet with you?" Like, how do I possibly meet you? Well, there's what's called Star City Games, which is ultimately a retailer of trading card games supplies. So Magic the Gathering, Lorcana, Star Wars Unlimited, Flesh and Blood, and they have events uh, coming up the end of August in Orlando, Florida. The middle of October in Houston, Texas, uh, late the next week, so the third week of October in Baltimore, Maryland, and then in Las Vegas, uh, the week of Thanksgiving. Okay, there's four events. I'm not saying I'm going to be there, but the intent is there. So if you're ever like, I need a hobby, here's Magic the Gathering, Star Wars Unlimited, Lorcana. You can bring your kids. It's a family friendly event. Okay. Now, the reason I'm telling you about this is because if you were ever like, I want to meet this person, me, and also someone this person served in the Marine Corps with, because I don't believe they stack shit this high, um, you can come meet uh, my Marine and I at probably one of or more of those events, most specifically Baltimore. Okay. And then also, there is another tour, another Magic the Gathering thing Okay, called Nerd Rage Gaming. Okay, this is more of a Midwest, North Midwest thing. So for those of you that live in Wisconsin and Michigan and Minnesota that are like, I need a hobby that's family friendly, that keep my interest, might I recommend Magic the Gathering? Okay, I'm trying to find their events. Here we go. Indianapolis, the end of this month. I don't even have to take off work or travel for an event. Two in a row. And then my birthday weekend, July 19th to 21st, in St. Paul, Minnesota. The end of August in Lansing, Michigan. And then mid-September in Mundelein, Illinois. So there's about 7 different places. St. Paul, Minnesota, Lansing, Michigan, Mundelein, Illinois, Orlando, Houston, Baltimore, Vegas. Okay. There's 7, 8 events. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. So if we had a long talk today. We had someone in my audience saying they were planning on giving up, and I'm instead saying, listen, I've been real down before. Go to the Humane Society and love on some dogs and find yourself a forever friend. Pick up a hobby. Might I recommend Magic the Gathering? There are other games. Magic ain't the only game. There's Star Wars Unlimited. There's Lorcana is Disney's Lorcana is super dumb. That's like a good game. So is Star Wars Unlimited is a good game. But I play personally Magic the Gathering, and hey, you don't even have to like the game. There's plenty of people that play Magic that don't like it. So just pointing this out there. Okay, play D&D online. Yeah. So what I've decided to do is pivot a little bit because I don't feel like me being a non-head coach is gonna help me with my role. Like I think that I'm gonna play Magic the Gathering and travel and meet lots of people and build the American Socialist Party by being very social. And I know that sounds fucking groundbreaking to people. But one of the things I learned in coaching is that coaching is a very lonely journey. And I don't think that helps me grow the American Socialist Party. Watch a tutorial of Magic the Gathering. Okay, so keep in mind there are multiple formats of Magic the Gathering. So there, well, I'll build it. You guys got to get the opponent's life to 0. Yeah, and there's tons of ways to do it. So you could just play a bunch of small creatures like an aggressive deck. You could play a deck that has removal and card draw and some way to win the game and permission. hmm My favorite things to do are combo and reanimator and just stuff that is. Well, no. So the thing about it, James, is like one of the things that you have to think about capitalism that has to go away is the seeking of profit regardless of people's scruples. And one of the things about capitalism is that it doesn't give a shit. And that I got a degree in data analytics to tell you that these corporations only care about profit and that they will get rid of their DEI program. They will fire their longest tenured employees instead of pay them. These corporations don't give a shit about you. And as a result, like if these corporations don't give a shit, then the capitalism's not going to work for me, right? The socialist economic theory says rent, interest, and taxes are derivative of your labor. Hmm. Yeah. So if you want to remove profit out of healthcare, for example, oh, so you want universal healthcare, right? So 33 of 34 developed countries have socialized healthcare already. Anyway, we could talk all day. I gotta go to work. Here, listen to Eat the Rich. This will help you. As always, start the show with a little bit of war, finish with a little bit of Eat the Rich. Okay. Yeah, you do, Big Benny. See that kind of shit? That shit flies with me. I get it. I get it. Not a thing. You're expendable. It's why unions are so important. By the way, join a union. Join Working America. That's the union I'm in. I'm not a liberal. Liberals uphold the ideals of capitalism. I'm an anti-capitalist. Hmm. Notice I'm not trying to grift off my audience. But you're a piece of shit, though.